it's me, Harmony in the Highest, coming to you with one of my first videos. And I've been wanting to make this YouTube channel for a while now, but just haven't brought myself to do it. So here I am, and I thought I would just get something out there, not have to make it perfect. I was just given the advice by another YouTuber who said to make your first 50 videos for yourself and for the practice and not for the viewers. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. So bear with me. But yeah, I've been wanting to create this channel for a while to start sharing some insights and downloads I've been getting from the Holy Spirit. So this is going to be Christian based, and this is going to be kind of my experience based on being saved over the last year and a half or so, and everything that I've learned on my journey, and everything that God is wanting me to share now with you. And I know it's going to be a little rough at first, but I just want to start sharing what I'm being told. I believe that He is raising me up to be a prophet in this time, and that this is practice. So hope you enjoy the channel. And I'm going to start with just kind of picking a topic that just came to mind, because I have so much I could share on, but tonight I think I'll stick with the topic of how different paths in our lives can lead to us being certain ways, having certain personality types and behaviors, and how often they're it's our path that caused us to be that way, but how and just kind of the how neat that is, that each of our paths make us who we are. And what got me thinking about it was watching this podcast with people sharing about how Marie Kondo is now, she used to obviously be one of the most organized people ever. Now that she has kids, she said she's a lot less organized, a lot less a perfectionist, as she would call it. She now says that she was living in perfectionism when she was in that time and space, and I completely understand how she became that way, because I had a trauma happen during COVID, which led me to start behaving in those ways. I adopted more of a sense of perfectionism and started having to have everything perfect, and I was more focused on the order in my life than I was on people in my life. And it came from a deep sense of chaos. I had the trauma that I had created so much chaos in my mind and in my life that all I wanted was the opposite. All I wanted was order, and for everything to make sense and have a clear, rational way about it, and that included my things, and and a lot of beautiful things were birthed out of that, such as my daily routine and making lists that really helped organize my life in a lot of ways. So I think there's really something to learning the art of organization. I think it's beautiful, and I think that Marie Kondo mastered it to such a level is beautiful. And I think she takes a lot of her practices stem from Japanese culture too, and Zen. And I think just the Zen traditions really incorporate this great sense of mindful organization. A sense of mindful organization, and really clearing out the mind so that you can come to that clarity. And what's interesting is I began to get in touch with that part of myself after I had been doing a lot of writing and journaling, kind of after COVID and after my emotional trauma. I was doing a lot of writing and journaling to try to make sense of everything, all the stuff that was running in the back of my head, because there was just so much unexplainable stuff that had happened in a short amount of time, and my mind couldn't cope with it. So I just began to journal and get everything out on paper, and suddenly, like, things started making sense. Things started taking on an order. Everything from like what happened to the new, like, yeah, things started taking on an order, and new intelligence started arising and coming to the surface, like this new intelligence, which I would refer to as like mindfulness, as one word to like encapsulate it. But through that, I was really able to completely transform my life. So it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful time. Even though I was in a lot of pain, I was really discovering some really beautiful things in the process. And so yeah, that was, I would say that was my introduction to Zen and to mindfulness and to creating order out of chaos that I had been coming from. And what I kind of see it as is like, I was in the spiritual world for 7 years prior, and in that, I feel that I was cultivating my feminine. Like I feel like the practices that I was doing and the life that I was living was cultivating like my feminine side, kind of like a deep emotional understanding, understanding the soul. Like and to me the feminine is the soul. So I was cultivating my soul. I was following my soul, all those things, but I was not, I wasn't organized, and I didn't have the level of clarity that I now have. And I have to be careful speaking about the past because it takes me to that space of mental chaos again. And so I want to be mindful not to do that. Because it's still fragile. It's been a process to come to the place that I'm at now, and I still have moments of utter chaos occurring simultaneously to all the beautiful clarity and the breakthrough that's been coming through. And I have a good explanation for that as well. And that is that I discovered too that the enemy, so in this whole time too, since COVID, I went from being in the spiritual community to then to coming to Florida in 2019, right before COVID hit, and going through living with family and having certain patterns emerge in my family, that like deep patterns that needed healing, as I think happened to many of us during that time. So through that and healing that, a lot of healing took place and new revelations took place. And during that time, I realized I was being saved. I was being delivered from a lot of like bondage, what I now know as bondage, that I was in before. And the Lord was delivering me from that and helping me to get my life together in every way, starting from my daily routine to the way that I organized, like in my habits. Everything began to change and shift, and it was really beautiful. And so I think that was me being saved, basically. So I went from being in the spiritual community to then starting to walk the path with Christ, like this path of righteousness, which I'll get more into that in another video. But so I began to walk this Christian path, and that's what I'm getting at. And so I think I was talking about that I know why I have moments of total clarity and revelation about how I can like bring my life together and create more order. And then I have moments of total chaos still. So I feel like it's a fragile thing that's been blossoming, finding this order, you know. And it's because there is such thing as the enemy, and the enemy has been doing everything he can, like, and I mean everything he can, to stop me from finding that clarity and that mindfulness in my life, to stop me from, you know, breaking through past traumas and past patterns. And you know, he's done everything he can to do that. So it's been a rocky road trying to find this new sense of stability, but it's been a beautiful one. And I guess yeah, but in starting this video, I guess I wanted to talk about how like just different personality types form from different experiences, because I never was perfectionist or OCD before COVID, before like that emotional trauma that I experienced in my family with my stepfather, new step person in my life. So and if you see me doing any like weird movements, it's because I am feeling resistance from the enemy right now, and I'm speaking to a Christian audience, so I think that you guys can understand. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, so I realize now that the perfectionist personality or somebody with OCD can develop out of like emotional trauma, and that in the healing that it's necessary to go through that stage where you need everything to be in order, like, because that's your mental like that's your stability, that's like survival for you, to need to have your things in order and to need to have everything like making sense and predictable and kind of in your control. That's so necessary when you're coming out of a chaotic situation where you feel like you have no control, you know. And I had always like heard that, and I always intuitively knew that somebody who's really controlling or OCD perfectionist probably feels like they have no control in another area of their lives, and so that's why they have to have everything so perfect, you know. But only, you know, now that it's happened to me, now I truly understand that, the meaning of that, you know. And as I've been kind of going through this process of like getting my routine together, and it's been a fight. I'll tell you, it's been a fight like for my life to get this clarity, and it continues to be. Like I'm being fought on it, because I guess having us in chaos is part of the enemy's design and plan. He doesn't want us to find mental clarity, because then our whole lives would change. Our whole lives around us would all change, and like we would start producing things, we would start being successful, we would have the discipline to be successful and to come out of like spiritual bondage. Like poverty is a major tool of the enemy, and the Holy Spirit and God has been bringing me out of that slowly, through just all of the different things He's been teaching me along this journey. So God is bringing us out of this bondage by bringing us breakthrough and clarity. And then the enemy on the other side has a whole team that's diligently working to do the opposite. And that's what I've been operating in my life before, that I had no idea was operating behind the scenes. So, you know, and as I speak, like, it's hard to admit that I'm still experiencing it. Like, it sucks, because I want to be done with it, honestly. I want all this resistance to be over. But I'm still in the process of being delivered, and I'm still in the process of really coming out, you know, on the other side. And I've got to stick with my routines on a daily basis, and everything the Holy Spirit has taught me, I've got to stay in that discipline daily, to keep this progress going. But I've made so much progress. Like, in just the last year alone. So I want to share more of that with you guys in future videos, but this is just my first one. So hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Take care. Bye.